All right, so in this video, you're gonna see me do a whole lot of triples, at 80% to be exact. I haven't done this type of workout in a very long time, ever since I kind of moved away from kind of daily maxing and the whole Bulgarian style of squat every day. For a while now, I've been doing high rep kind of stuff. So I haven't done this type of workout for a very long time. This type of workout basically goes along the lines of the philosophy, which calls for basically minimal, reps, sets, but maximum intensity, right? So, 10 triples at 80% is kind of all right. Like, a lot of people can do 5 sets of 5 at 80%. So this is kind of like a little bit less intensity, but a bit more sets. And it just kind of calls in, working with a heavier weight just to practice your, top end strength. That's kind of the intention I had for this workout, because when you're doing a lot of high rep stuff, you get accustomed to just focus on the breathing and not so much the bracing. In this workout, you're already seeing it. I'm gonna put it up as I talk along. But basically, my legs did not get a pump. There's no soreness, there's no leg fatigue, there's no anything fatigued. Like basically, waist down, I'm cool. Where I am feeling a little bit under duress, I guess, or the area that was hit the hardest in this type of workout is my core. The ability to kind of keep your flat back in all the way down in the ATG kind of hole is very, very difficult. The structures that I'm thinking about are the rectus spinae. The erectors need to kind of continuously contract to avoid the caving. And also the psoas, the iliopsoas kind of through the middle, which kind of originates from the lumbar spine and then goes kind of around your gut and inserts into the top of or the proximal femurs. So that thing kind of needs to pull in conjunction with the erectors to keep your flat back. So those are the muscles that I kind of felt working today. It's fun. Like this type of workout is really, really fun. I encourage you guys to do, work with triples. I think a lot of you guys do more of this type of work than the stuff I've been doing, like sets of 50 and sets of 30 and all that stuff. This is kind of like the powerlifting realm. This is the normality. But it's fun. The reason why I say it's fun is because it's not scary. The scary stuff for me, in terms of like work, I don't feel like I worked all that hard today. It took me a whole lot of time. Like it took me 50 minutes to do this, 45 minutes to do this, 10 sets. What I was trying to do is kind of follow along the Paolo Tsulin's idea of resting. You gotta rest, man. Like if you don't rest, but between these type of sets, you're not really doing it justice, because you're not looking for muscular fatigue. You're looking for central nervous system efficiency training. You're looking for technique training. This is a technique kind of workout. It's not, you don't build, metabolic conditioning through this, right? Like you really need to kind of understand what you're doing in a workout. For me, this is all about practicing my, stability through the trunk, practicing my bracing under load over and over again, and not going into the realm of where I have muscular fatigue, where I have to kind of compromise myself because of breathing, the diaphragm is doing this, and all those kind of things. So there is no breathing problems here. There is no lactic acid here. This is purely a central nervous system exercise where you are just training your technique. This is the kind of workout that you use to kind of peak or to kind of, develop top end strength. I've kind of been developing a base now for a little while, and I feel like I want to throw in some of these workouts just to kind of get accustomed to what bracing really hard is actually about. When you're doing high rep sets, you're bracing, but you're bracing kind of under the conditions of the diaphragm going up and down, trying to draw breath, because there's a metabolic component to this. So you're kind of bracing under conditions which are different to what this is. This is purely tension. There's a whole lot of weight on top of you, and you have to kind of lock everything in so you don't blow a disc or freaking blow a hernia, right? So there's different kind of ideas here. I honestly think you should do both. And if you're intermediate, a beginner, something that I am, I guess I'm an intermediate. I'm not a beginner, I guess. I think we should spend most of our time building a base. I truly think that. There's no point specializing. There's no point, in my eyes, there's no point trying to perfect something where you don't actually have the horsepower, right? You don't have the capacity. You don't have an engine. You need to build a base. You need to build some sort of muscular tissue which you can then specialize in and do something with it. When you're a natural athlete, obviously it takes a long time. Base building is a very long time for somebody that's natural, because you can't accumulate mass like somebody that's on gear. I've heard all sorts of kind of equations, how much muscle you can build as a natural athlete. It's like a kilo of freaking lean muscle a year or something, 2 kilos, something like those lines. Don't quote me on that, but it's very little. And when it comes to, you know, natural athletes, sure, we can just get fat. We can get fat, and that's just, I don't know, for whatever reason, we get stronger when we're bigger. But if you're not after that, and you're just after kind of staying in normal shape, by getting stronger, it's a slow kind of game, and most of your eggs need to be put in the basket of efficiency, training CNS, and all that sort of stuff. You still need to have an engine and whatnot, you need to be fit, but you need to be able to, you know, perfect your central nervous system. So that's kind of what I had in mind today. 10 triples at 80%, felt great, felt at ease. I was running around with the kids afterwards, kind of in between sets, like basically really fun. Whereas when I work under, you know, high rep stuff, I'm not a nice person to be around, because basically I'm screwed. I'm huffing and puffing, I'm breathing hard, and it's not a very fun time. This is fun. This type of training is fun. Kind of the same as fun as kind of working up to a heavy training max. There's only one moment in your day where you're actually really uncomfortable. The rest of the time you're working with sub-maximal weight. This is sub-maximal weight. You're working with triples, so it's a piece of cake. I don't know. I guess it's all about your exposure in training. So if you've gone through a base builder, like doing sets of 50, and then you do this is a walk in the park. But if all you've ever done is this, then maybe this is not a walk in the park. So it's all about comparison. It's all about contrast. But anyway, this was a breeze. I hope I do more of these. So right now I'm trying to do less frequent, kind of like sets of 50. I feel like, it's freaking hard work, man. It's freaking hard work. And I don't think I get the most out of it when I do like every other day of sets of 50. So I'm gonna kind of scale that a little bit. I still want to do it, definitely. That's the whole point of my training right now, is to do these sets of 30, sets of 50, continue to improve. But I feel like when you do some of these sessions, what I did today, and then you go back to 100 kilos, it feels so light, and I just feel like the central nervous system is just more efficient, and then you can get more reps that way. So two things you're trying to advance here. You're trying to advance your technique on one lane, and you're trying to get fitter on the other lane. So you can't neglect both of them. They're both needed. So it's just a matter of how do you do both of these. You know, there's all different theories about concurrent training, block periodization. Some people say do blocks of hypertrophy, blocks of, you know, GPP, I guess, and then hypertrophy, and then you're kind of like strength, and then you're peaking. Some people just say you can train both of these kind of attributes at the same time. I don't know what's going on. It's very, like I said to you guys before, it's very hard for me to sit back, and after like I've spent a bit of time training, it's very hard for me to sit back and believe anyone, because even like these Bulgarians that I've kind of like based a lot of my philosophies on, what if they're on drugs, man? Like, just what if? Most of us think that they have been. You know what I mean? Like, so like I'm trying to chase something that's unattainable. So what I'm going on by now is just purely my experience, purely my anecdote and my training log. I write everything down and see how I progress. When things work, I keep it in and I analyze it further, and I kind of fine tune it. When things don't work, I piss it off. All I know is some things don't work and I don't go back to it. Like daily maxing every single day to like a true training max doesn't work for a long period of time. At best, I think it worked for like 4 to 6 weeks. After a month, basically, you run out. You've exhausted your base, so you need to go back to your base. Anyway, I don't know how long this video is. It's about, what, 9 minutes now. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed all the different angles I put up as well. I didn't do it just for you guys, I did it for me as well. I wanted to see how I'm progressing in terms of my positioning. I guess I'm happy. Towards the later sets, I was kind of leaning a little forward a little bit more, and that's probably because of the core aspect. But anyway, all in all, very happy today, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you.